Yeah, I see. He's Googling it right now. Listen. All right. First and foremost, we want to give call halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai. That's all praise to the Most High God. In the name of His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ. Yahweh Shai Hamashiach in the Hebrew. Right? It's another segment. Right? Another segment of the couch captivity created. You know, so often you hear brothers and sisters not willing to take accountability. That's what this is about. Marriage is about accountability. Sex being marriage is about accountability. I'm going to give y'all a scenario, right? So, a young lady is in high school, a young man is in high school, they meet each other. And, you know, they might have grew up in the church or not. Their parents tell them, you know, be careful, be mindful, mind your P's and Q's, don't do anything that could jeopardize your future, this and the other. And what they, what I believe personally that they could do is tell you, if you deal with this sister or you deal with this brother, once you go that direction, you have to stay with them for the rest of your life. What does that do when you tell someone that? Now, they're not going to be so quick to deal with anybody. They're going to mind their P's and Q's. They're going to be on point. If you're not the person that's going to do all these things that I have written down on this list, you know how they used to tell you, make a list of what you want. Make a list of what you want in your relationship, or your dream girl or your dream guy or some stuff, right? So, Shalom, Victoria, you know, better known as Khadash, all right? Khadash Brashyat, right? Now, which means new beginning, right? So, you, if we had this guidance, right, then we would be very mindful of how we go about who we deal with, right, on that level. So you're in high school, she's in high school, or vice versa, and you want to be with her, and you have these feelings and these emotions, and guess what? The people that have lasting relationships are the ones that meet in school. Here's the problem. We're all in these elements, right? The element is my homeboys are saying, hey, you hit that? The element is saying, you a virgin? The elements are making you feel as if you have to go that extra step to prove yourself. Now you go that extra step and you lay with your girl. Both of y'all ain't never laid with nobody, but you lay with your girl now. You her first, she your first. And in that scenario, nobody's telling you that you are together forever now. Most women, the first person they lay with consensually is who they want to be with forever. Initially, right? They ain't never dealt with nobody else on that level. They never trusted anybody else on that level. That's how a woman moves. Us brothers, It's not necessarily anything different, but we've always seen the variety. We've always saw the spectrum of ladies. But once again, we weren't told that we can have all of them. But once you lay with them, you can't never leave them. So now you're going to be very mindful of which one you pick. Right? So now, y'all get into an argument, and this is high school. Your parents don't want you with me. My parents don't want me with you. My friends don't like the fact that you want me spending so much time with you. Your friends don't think I treat you right. So now we break up. That girl, all she ever wanted was love. Us brothers, we don't really think like that. We gotta do shit. We got shit to do. But women, they want the love. So now we lay with that woman, and because she's felt something she's never felt before. Understand the scenario, keep up. She's felt something she's never felt before. Had a connected, a bond that she's never had before. And then, all of a sudden, y'all break up. She still wants that bond. She still wants to feel what she had felt because she had never felt that close to somebody. That's what intimacy is. So now she goes and another dude approaches her and entices her. You look good. Can I take you out on a date? Of course. She's single now because her first husband put her away unknowingly because he don't even know that he belongs to her and she belongs to him for the rest of his life. So now she goes and deal with another dude. He's an even worse nigga ass dog than the first dude. The first dude was just guided down the wrong path by the elements around him. The other one is the elements around him. He's that guy. But she don't know it because she just wants love. So now she lays with him. 2 under her belt now. He dogs her out. He ain't with her no more. Her want for that love is still there. Remember, we talk about absentee fathers when we look at the brothers. But for some reason we forget. If he wasn't in the house for us, what make you think he's in the house for the daughter? So now the daughter ain't got the daddy figure in her house. She don't know how a man is supposed to conduct himself. You understand? Y'all have to think about these things because we talk a lot of stuff and we got to look at the fact that this is what our sisters go through. And these are the predicaments that brothers are in because our parents didn't tell us who we are, what we are, or how to go about our lives in a, pick up your Bible, in a righteous manner, right? A morally correct manner. So I just wanted to preface that or preface that with just an understanding as to what we're dealing with. We're dealing with years and years of not conducting ourselves the correct way. And we have to forgive each other for that. Seriously. We truly have to forgive each other for that. Because our sisters didn't want to have to go through that. And us brothers didn't want to have to do that to our sisters. But we're so stuck in the elements. That's why she's still looking for love. And that's why he's still looking to just get some. Because she's looking at the fairy tales that she's being told. And he's looking at, look at all these women. I can have them all. Right? So That's why it's so important to understand that when you lay down with somebody, that you are spiritually, and if you're in this truth, knowingly saying that I'm going to be with you forever, lest it be for fornication or adultery. That's the rules. That's the Bible. Let me get Edemo online. And let's look up the word consummate. All right.
The verb.
The verb, right?
Yeah.
Right.
The adjective is different than the verb.
What? Genesis 1 with them? Let's get Genesis 2 and 24. Good. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 2, and verse 24. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Read it again. Hold on. Go to 23. Start at 23. Go on. Verse 23. And Adam. No. Just 24. Go on. Verse 24. Therefore shall a man leave his father. A man shall leave his father and his mother. And his mother. And shall cleave unto his wife. And shall cleave unto his wife. Shall take hold. Cling to. Cleave unto his wife. Go ahead. And they shall be one flesh. They shall be one flesh. You know, when you cleave unto your husband and he cleaves unto you, he no longer answers to his parents. She no longer answers to her parents. He is her Lord. He is her head. Right? So let's get the definition of consummate. Because now we've cleaved unto each other and now we become one flesh. Mid 15th century, to bring to completion, finish by completing, with what was intended, to finish by completing what was intended. To sum up, make up, complete, finish, together with, total, right? So it's to complete, right? To finish, to bring a marriage to completion by sexual intercourse. Now, you have to remember, we didn't have this elaborate ceremony thing. We didn't have I give you paperwork, you give me paperwork. We didn't sign stuff. We didn't do any of those things. These are traditions of men. Are they wrong? Not necessarily. But to live our lives thinking that Esau's way of doing things, or the so-called white man's way of doing things, is the way that we should conduct ourselves, we're completely lost. It's weird how us as a people can go through what we've gone through, and we still let them tell us how we're supposed to live. We still look to them as to what rules we can keep and not keep. That's crazy. Let me get let me get Genesis 24 and 67. Come on.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 24, and verse 67.
Mm-hmm. Because what a lot of people do is they say, just because you have sex does not make you married. I heard someone say, sex and a baby make you married. It's now I was having sex way before I ever had a baby. I don't know how that works. Go ahead.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 24, and verse 67. And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent, and took Rebekah.
Started 66.
Verse 66.
Hold on.
62 is the
Started
context.
62.
Verse 62. And Isaac came from the way of the well Lahai Roy, and he dwelt in the south country.
Mm-hmm.
And Isaac went out to meditate in the field at the eventide.
Mm-hmm.
And he lifted up his eyes and saw, and behold, the camels were coming. And Rebekah lifted up her eyes, and when she saw Isaac, she lighted off the camel.
Mm-hmm.
For she had said unto the servant, what man is this that walketh in the field to meet us? And the servant had said, it is my master. Therefore she took a veil and covered herself.
See, I don't want y'all to sleep. They took the words of the Bible and they acted out in these weddings. The woman has a veil over her face. She's coming down the aisle to meet the dude. You know what I'm saying? All this is what they do nowadays. Keep going.
God. Therefore she took a veil and covered herself. And the servant told Isaac all things that he had done.
Mm-hmm.
And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent.
Hold on. So, I don't know how long from this to there. You know?
She jumped off the camel and that was it.
Listen, like, who is that dude? Oh, I'm put a veil over my face.
Say less.
Go ahead.
Yeah. And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent,
Mm-hmm.
and took Rebekah.
And took Rebekah. Excuse me. One second. Go ahead and give me the blue letter for took.
God.
Mm-hmm. Pa. Go down. Right there. La Croix. Go ahead.
This is Strong's H 3946. LaCroix. To take, get, fetch, lay hold
Lay
of.
hold of. He laid hold of her. Right? To what?
Seize.
Right?
Receive.
Receive.
Acquire.
Acquire.
Buy. Bring. Marry.
Marry.
Take a wife.
Take a wife. So he took her as his wife. Now watch this. So he took her into his mother's tent and she became his wife. So they had a ceremony in his mother's tent, is what y'all saying. There was guests around, everybody was there chilling, eating, everything was cool when he took her to his mother's tent. So we're trying to show y'all that once you lay down with this person, you have now acquired this person. Once you've laid down with this person, you've now acquired this person. And Isaac brought her into his mother's tent. Read it again.
God.
67.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 24 and verse 67. And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent and took Rebekah, and she became his wife, and he loved her.
And she became his wife. He took Rebekah, and she became his wife. Read.
And loved her. And Isaac was comforted after his mother's death.
So his mother had passed away. He meets his broad. Eventually, whenever it happened, he took her into the house and he married her. I didn't see anything about a ceremony. I didn't see anything about a feast. I didn't see anything about vows being exchanged or anything like that. You didn't even see that when it came to Adam and Eve. They became one flesh. When two come together, they become one. Integral. Who's seen Tenet? It's just a gesture. A gesture and a word. Integral.
You finally did it on camera.
Let's go to Genesis 29, 21 through 26. So, Isaac took Rebekah into his mother's tent, and she became his wife. Now, if anybody disagrees, or if anybody feels as if, see, but all y'all are people that watch me, so it's not like y'all going to disagree. I need a bigger platform. Where's the Christians at that are like, no, it's impossible. You sleep with a woman, it'll make her your wife. Listen, that's why Catholics are only doing butt stuff. You know? Because they believe if you have sex in the vajayjay, you're married. But anything else is free reign. Go ahead, where we at?
29 verse 21.
Yeah.
God. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 29 and verse 21. And Jacob said unto Laban, give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her.
That I may what?
That I may go in unto her.
Go in unto her. Give me my wife, that I may go in unto her. So, I had a conversation one day, and someone said, see, he was tricked. Listen, what does that matter to me? I don't care if he was tricked. Did he sleep with her? Read.
God. Verse 22. And Laban gathered together all the men of the place.
Hold on. Wait, 29 and
22.
you tired too, huh?
I'm just working on that. I don't know why.
21. Read it in the NLT. Hold on, let's see. Listen. Watch. Read that verse, and then I want you to go into the in unto in the blue letter. Yeah, interlinear.
Okay. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 29 and verse 21. And Jacob said unto Laban,
Go down.
give me my wife,
Right there.
for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her.
That you may go in unto her. Now, to go in, enter. Give me my wife so I can get up in there. Go down. Keep going. We're going to go to definitions. Right there. Bo or ba. Is it B-O-W? Primitive root. To go or come. Abide, apply, attain. Right? Befall, besiege. Right? To fetch, to invade. You know? Right? Take away. Right? So let's go backwards. Let's go back.
All right.
And read the verse again. Yazir. And get the last word that was in that verse too. Down at the bottom is L. Yeah. Right there. Yeah. Go in unto her. To, toward, unto, in motion. Into. Limit is actually entered. In among, toward, of direction. Not necessarily physical motion. Against, motion, in addition to, concerning, in regard to, in reference to, on account of, according to. Go down. In between, in within. Unto, idea of motion to. Al, that's the word, right? But only used in the shorthand constructed from form. Properly denoting motion towards. Give me my wife so I can go in, siege, take hold, go into her. Denoting motion towards, through, toward, unto, upon, within. Saying, give me my wife so I can sleep with her. So I can go in there. Sis, what's your name again?
Q.
Q. Good one. Q. Now watch this. You watch Mo Better Blues?
No.
What? Denzel Washington? Spike Lee? By a show of hands and in the chat. Let's get to the chat. In the chat. Who in the chat has watched the movie Mo Better Blues? Who in this room watched Mo Better Blues? Listen. Yeah. Hold on. Let me see. Let me see if I can find a YouTube video.
Yeah, the movie started out with he tuning her out. He was playing the piano. Went solid.
Oh, I ain't got no video. All right. Okay. I see yeah. I have. Who else? Anybody else? Now watch. Candace, Kenneth, Shatara Payak. Remember the scene when they said, you know her or you know her? He said, man, hey, listen, I know her. We understood the concept of knowing somebody. To know somebody is an intimate thing. So when we speak on that level, we're saying, you know her? Listen, I know her. Right? Like the Bible is all around us. The stuff we are used to is all around us. We just never put all these things together. When I watched that movie, I wasn't thinking about the Bible. I couldn't stand that movie. But I wasn't thinking about the Bible. But when I finally started reading the Bible and you go to parts where it says, and he didn't know her until this, that, and the other, or Adam knew Eve. Let's get that.
Chapter 4.
Chapter 4?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
From the top, huh? Yeah. Now watch this. I want you to read it in the KJV, and I want you to put up the other translations.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 4 and verse 1. And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord.
Now watch the NLT. Now Adam had sexual relations with his wife. Right? That's what it means to know. When it comes to a man and a woman, it says to know, it's talking about sex. Right? What did it say? Oh, fine. Yeah. In NIV, Adam made love to his wife Eve. CSB, the man was intimate with his wife Eve. Because remember, Adam is man. Right? Listen. Now the man, this is the NASB. Now the man had relations with his wife Eve. Right? Oh, it's crazy? Now watch. To know a person carnally.
Where's that? Okay, I got
Yeah. Under outline biblical usage. Right? Now let's go back. So now you're hearing that Adam knew his wife Eve, and that's what it was. That was sex. So now we're talking about Jacob, right? Let's get back there.
God. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 29 and verse 21. And Jacob said unto Laban, give me my wife,
Give me my wife.
for my days are fulfilled.
He worked 7 years for this woman. Listen, that's my wife. She belonged to me. See, she's betrothed to me. She's engaged. All right, go ahead.
That I may go in unto her.
That I might lay with her. Go ahead.
And Laban gathered together all the men of the place and made a feast.
Now watch. Why is he doing this? Why is he getting a feast? You gotta get him drunk to give him the other daughter. You ain't heard nobody else had to have no feast. Isaac took Rebecca into his mama's tent, and he knew her. Adam knew Eve. Laban got to play a game right quick. So now he's just saying, you know what? Let me get all this stuff set up. We gonna party. We gonna drink. Go ahead and read.
God.
Because it ain't dark enough for me to not know that your body is not the body that I was trying to get. Your hair ain't the way, you know what I'm saying?
They say Rachel had that shape.
You know what I'm saying? He said beer bottle.
Rachel had that figure though.
He said, God. She had built like a beer bottle. And her neck and then just. Yeah, go ahead.
Verse 23. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah his daughter and brought her to him. And he went in unto her.
And he went in unto her. Now I've heard he worked 7 years. That was the contract. That was the marriage license. I heard that stuff. That was the marriage license. Okay. So why did it end up that if he had worked for the other woman and did all that stuff for the other woman, that was a part of that marriage license, why is it that if I sleep with the other daughter that I can't have the woman I wanted? How is it that after I slept with her, now she's my wife, not the woman I worked hard for? Go ahead.
God.
And people try to rationalize and say, listen, oh my gosh, dude, I watched something earlier. About polygyny. And it's one of them black Christian pastors. And he was saying, like, you know, the Most High did it in the Old Testament for a reason. But it wasn't his perfect, it wasn't his listen, he said some goofy stuff, bro. I'm gonna send it to you. I'll send it to you guys, yeah. I was just like, that's not a good way to look at it. It's only a 5-minute video. Where do you want me to send it to?
You send it to
the chat?
Yeah, to Messenger.
To you personally or just the group?
The group is fine.
All right. Can't believe you killed the name that we had sex. You are mine.
Put you is.
You is mine. Now she's broken English.
I'm going.
Damn, bro. Broken English ain't Ebonics.
Use and you is the same thing.
Nah, man. That's why it says use.
Don't worry. You is mine.
Yeah. Nah. You was mine now. Who's mine, huh? This man said, and you is mine. He's mine. Not now,
It
never.
sound the same to me. Oh man, I gotta log back in. Shit.
Where else can I send it to? I can put it in the chat.
Put it in the chat. Yeah.
I mean, in the YouTube chat.
This
Yeah.
This chat right here.
Yeah, YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Hot up in here. You doing what? There you go.
Gotta go.
You can't even click it, huh?
I gotta go to YouTube.
Hold on. Let me help you out.
I'm gonna go to YouTube Live.
So the fun thing with the serpent is, how does the serpent talk? What? And not only that, but why is the serpent's punishment?
Got 2 seconds. It's on mute.
Yeah.
And Solomon all have in common. All of these great men of God had multiple wives. So the question is, does God support polygamy? That's coming up next on The Beat.
I just want y'all to listen to like how he.
Hey everyone, my name is Alan
How
Parr.
he
Thank you
deals
all
with
so
the
much
Bible.
for visiting my channel. Here on The Beat, we release a new video every single Tuesday. And today we are tackling the tricky, difficult question, did God support or allow polygamy in the Old Testament? There's
If you
actually
can
a verse
hear
that
the video
seems to
clearly,
suggest
just put a
that he
1 in the
did. And
chat.
so in order to answer this question, we want to take a look at 3 things. First of all, what are some of the reasons why he may have allowed it? Second of all, what were the results of everyone who practiced polygamy? And then finally, how is this question relevant to us today? And so number 1, what were some of the reasons why men took multiple wives in the Old Testament?
Now pause it right
One of the
quick.
reasons is if their wife was barren.
See, now y'all gotta understand. You're never gonna hear them talk about if you lay with this woman, you have to deal with her for the rest of your life. I'm pretty sure he's laid with multiple women in his day. I'm sure he's laid with multiple women in the course of his career. But go ahead.
And so in order to further the family lineage, a man would oftentimes take another wife and have a child by them. A second reason is for the protection of women. So in this culture, there were a lot of men who were going off to war and they were dying, leaving a disproportionate amount of men
Pause
to
it right there,
women.
man.
And so oftentimes...
Now, listen. He said people go to war, men be dying. You know, without war, the numbers are still 7-1. So, there are 6 women walking around. You got 7 women around you. 6 of them will never have a man. Ever. According to his logic. Go ahead and play it. According to how females want to live their lives. They want to not have a man, then they finally want to have a man, and then when they get a man, now it's like, okay, well, I want to be the only woman that you ever have. But at the same time, Go ahead.
Men would step up and take
Y'all saying
on
forget your
extra
sister.
wives to provide support and covering so that these women who couldn't take care of themselves wouldn't be forced into a life of prostitution. A third reason why men would take on extra wives in
Hold
the
on.
Old Testament was for an alliance.
So he's saying when a woman would choose to be in a polygamous relationship because she needed to be taken care of. If she didn't do that, she would go to prostitution. So it's like, which one is the lesser of the two evils? You rather be a prostitute or you rather just be his wife, his third wife? Go ahead. That's crazy.
And so to forge a partnership with another nation. And so oftentimes kings would swap wives, and then in doing so, they formed an alliance or a partnership. Now, the fourth reason was just straight up greed. Some brothers like David and Solomon just took on more wives for the purpose of having more wives. But interestingly enough, even in David's situation, when he committed adultery with Bathsheba, God came to him and said, why did you have to steal someone else's wife? If the wives that I have already given you weren't enough, I would have given you more. So even though there were some reasons why men took on extra wives in the Old Testament, now we want to take a look at what were the results of every single person who practiced polygamy. Interestingly enough, each time in the Bible when a man took on an extra wife, it caused problems and actually ended up oftentimes dividing his home. We can look at Abraham and his two wives. We can look at Jacob and his two wives and his two concubines. We can look at the interesting story in 1 Samuel between a wife named Hannah and another woman named Peninnah. So clearly,
remember, he said when they took on multiple wives, they had nothing but drama. You're telling me that when you're still with just one woman, you don't have drama? Nah, only if you're a pastor that teaches this stuff is your life just straight. You ain't got to worry about what us lowly niggas doing. Go ahead.
each time somebody practiced polygamy in the Old Testament, it was some straight up drama and did not turn out well. And so finally, how is this question relevant for us today? Well, it actually helps us understand the proper way for how we should interpret the Word of God. There is something called the law of first mention, and this is the idea that whenever we want to know more about what God thinks about a certain subject, we go back to the first time that it was mentioned in the Bible. And so if we look at the original institution of marriage, it is crystal.
Y'all got to be listening. But what he's doing is he's saying when we see stuff going on, what we do is we go to the initial incident, the initial time that everything is ever recorded that has to do with something similar, right? So, yeah, we know Tyon. Like 2 weeks ago, you was watching this dude. Go ahead and play it again. Tyon be great. You know, putting a tie on your neck is a phallus, right?
Clear that it is the joining together of a man and a woman, and so anything outside of that original intent, man and a woman, and so anything back to the first time that it was mentioned in the Bible. And so God thinks about a certain subject, we go back to the first time that it was mentioned in the Bible.
Meaning you have to go back to when the first time it's mentioned. Go ahead.
What God thinks about a certain subject, we go back to the first time that it was mentioned in the Bible. And so if we look at the original institution of
God, Jesus demonstrated the use of this principle when teaching on marriage in Matthew 19 by quoting Genesis 2. Keep going.
Marriage, it is crystal clear that it is the joint.
It's listen. I know this is off topic, but I need y'all to understand what he's doing. He's going precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little. He's doing what we do while telling us we can't do it. That's crazy. He's saying Christ is quoting Genesis 2 in Matthew. Because Christ is going to where it initially was at, right? But when we go back there, everybody be like, nah, that's the Old Testament. We don't deal with that no more.
You gotta read the whole
Why?
chapter.
That has everything to do with why we're going off. Because we don't know nothing about the All in One. They sell Bibles with Psalms, Proverbs, and New Testament. They sell those things. Keep going.
Joining together of a man and a woman, and so anything outside of that original intent cannot.
God's design for marriage. For this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife, and the two shall become one. That's the biblical concept of marriage. I want you to turn this up a little more. Because I want y'all to hear this foolery. Now play it.
Be considered God's perfect will. Second of all, whenever we are interpreting the Bible, be careful not to confuse God's permissive.
Do not confuse God's permissive will with his perfect will.
Where they get
they just pull shit out like they just create fucking terminology. Salakia, forgive my language. They just create scenarios. Bro. What is God's permissive will? Right. Show me that verse. Yeah. You're permitted to do this. But it's not my perfect will.
That's straight out of seminary.
Bro.
That's why this nigga got razor bumps.
Bro.
All
you gotta do is just grow his beard out.
Yeah, just grow it out.
Be a man.
He wanted,
He's got on makeup too. But go ahead.
Will with his perfect will. In other words, don't confuse certain things that are being described in the Bible as if God has
described and prescribed. For example, many people spoke in tongues in the book of Acts, but does that teach that every believer should have that experience? Listen. He said he's going to say it. There's about a minute and a half left. He's going to say something. And he's going to be like, but just because they did that, don't mean that you should be trying to. He said the apostles drank poison and didn't die. Does that mean you should do it? I thought it was about faith. I thought they did it because of their faith. They would get bit by snakes and wouldn't die. Should you do it? I mean, I thought that had everything to do with, the faith and whatever. Play it, man. Listen, y'all don't understand. I be listening to this thing.
Prescribed it for every single Christian. In other words, let me give you some examples. David cursed out many of his enemies in prayer, but does that mean that we should do it? No. In the New Testament, the apostles would drink poison and not get sick. They would pick up snakes and not get bitten. But just because it happened to them doesn't mean that we should do it. So we need to be careful not to take isolated events that occurred in the Bible and build a theology around it and say that this must be the normative experience for everyone.
I'm not drinking any poison or getting anywhere near a snake, even if they did do it in the Bible. Listen, that's the difference between your faith and ours. Go ahead.
Every single believer. A final consideration is just like God was patient enough to use and bless men that took on extra wives, which was clearly outside of God's will. In the same way, God is patient to use us in spite of our sin. And so instead of asking the question, how can God overlook what they did and use those sinful men? Instead, we should be asking the question, how can God overlook all the things that we do every day and still use us in spite of what we do? So, did God allow polygamy in the Old Testament for a variety of reasons? I think we can safely say that yes, he did. But is polygamy God's perfect will? I think we can safely say, no, it is not.
The razor bumps perfect.
If you found this video helpful in any way, feel free to share it with a friend. Also, if you haven't done so already, I would love it if you head over to my YouTube channel and subscribe. While you're there, check out some of the other videos. This is a difficult subject, so if you have any questions or comments.
That's some craziness. Listen, outside of God's perfect will, I didn't even understand that.
He said everybody with multiple wives was Sinful men.
Listen. He said, if God could look past their sins,
Wasn't Jacob perfect?
listen. Anyways, let me get back to the lesson. Where we at? Go back. We still at Genesis 29. We're gonna read 21 to 26. Keep going.
Verse 24.
Listen, that's what I have to deal with, man. That's what we live with. That's what we live with. Tyon. He used to watch his videos, huh? Anyway, go ahead.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 29 and verse 24. And Laban gave unto his daughter Leah Zilpah, his maid, for an handmaid. Verse 25. And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And he said to Laban,
What is this?
What is this thou hast done unto me? Did not I serve with thee for Rachel?
Didn't I do all that 7 hard years of dedication for Rachel? Go ahead.
Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me? And Laban said, it must not be so done in our country, to give the younger before the firstborn.
See, it's not in their custom to give the younger daughter before they get the firstborn away. Go ahead.
Fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also.
Fulfill your 7 years again, and I'll give you my other daughter. I'll give you the one that you wanted. My thing is, where was the contract? Where was the paperwork? Where was anything that said, I'm going to... listen, I understand the whole I'm going to work for 7 years and take Rachel. But why is it that when he slept with Leah, he took her as the wife? Now, he could easily say, no, I'll work the 14 years just for Rachel. This man ended up with 4 women at the end of 14 years. And not one of them did. Go ahead. It's going to go a different route.
Verse 27. Fulfill her week, and we will give thee also for the service which thou shalt serve with me yet 7 other years.
Let's go to Genesis 30. Once again, he had sex with Leah, and she was his wife. Then he eventually, after 14 years, he had sex with Rachel, and she became his wife. We're going to read verse 3 and 4.
God. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 30, verse 3. And she said, behold, my maid Bilhah, go in unto her.
That means to sleep with her. Go ahead.
And she shall bear upon my knees, that I may also have children by her. And she gave him Bilhah, her handmaid, to wife. And Jacob,
he had sex with her. She became his wife.
And Jacob went in unto her.
And Jacob went in unto her. Meaning what? He slept with her. Let's go Exodus 22. Because people will be like, but don't he have to pay a dowry? And don't this guy got to pay a dowry? We have to always remember, you only pay the dowry for a virgin. Like Madonna said, touch for the very first time. Like a virgin, when your heart beats next to mine. Thugging and bugging, man. That's crazy. It is his permissive will. Bro, when I heard that stuff, I was just like, they just create doctrines, man. They just be creating words, creating ideologies, and you just got to... How do you keep up with Christianity?
Stands on nothing.
Bro.
It's that moving goalpost.
Go ahead.
To the side, son. God. Is that verse 22 in your verse?
15 and 16.
15, 16. God. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 22, and verse 15. But if the owner thereof be with it, he shall not make it good. If it be an hired thing, it came for his hire.
Hold on. It's like it was 16 and 17. Okay.
Verse 16. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall.
If a man entice a maid and she's not engaged with anybody, and he lies with her to have sex, go ahead.
He shall surely endow her to be his wife.
She's gonna be his wife. If he lay down with her, she's gonna be his wife. Go ahead.
If her father utterly refuse to give her unto him,
And after he's already laid with her, she can't go nowhere else. Her dad be mad. My girl dad be mad. He mad. He big mad. Read that verse.
Verse 17. If her father utterly refuse to give her unto him, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins.
According to the dowry of virgins. Right? Yeah. Once again, man, y'all just have to understand. We ain't had no paperwork, right? All praises, all praises. We ain't have no paperwork. Understand that, right? There was nothing like that. It's always been me and you come to an agreement. We like each other. We want to go down that road. So now we're gonna do what we're gonna do. Right? All right. Mute it right quick. We're almost done. All right. So y'all have to understand, right? Imagine how much more. Go ahead. Listen, Lahat. That's the point. He says, imagine how much more pure our women would be if our people upheld our culture. Listen, Lahat. We ain't even just gonna leave it on them. How pure the men would be, right?
That part.
Because we know what it's like to lay with a woman and be like, listen, I had to let her go for unreconcilable differences. Yo.
You just did
Listen, you niggas don't know me, man. I talk my stuff. I talk. So you got to understand.
Welcome to Couch.
We got to cut that stuff out. We got to cut that shit out. Not by y'all. We got to cut this stuff out. We have to hold ourselves accountable. Once we lay with this person, they are ours forever. Cut the bullshit. Cut the bullshit. If you didn't hear about this truth, you would go about your day however you go about your day. Today is when you hear the truth and now you move with the truth. That's for everybody here. I'm talking to Q because Q isn't involved in this, right? But all of y'all who wear these fringes and wear these tassels and say, Abanawi Yahawa, Shabbat Shema, Wadash Hayashimka, all y'all that deal with this walk, stop fucking bullshitting. Stop fucking bullshitting. You lay with this person, they're yours forever. Deal with them in righteousness. Righteousness. Ephesians 5. The spirit of the fruits of the spirit. Meekness, love, joy, long suffering, patient. Guess what? I can say I have a hard time dealing with these things myself. But it don't mean that I don't strive to be that person every single day. My woman can tell you, yeah, I might not talk to her for a little bit. She might know, don't touch me, don't bother me. But she understands if Bazak is wrong, he's going to say, Salakia, I was wrong for this. I shouldn't have done this, shouldn't have done that. That's my conscience. That's me saying, I know. I don't care what you did. I know what I did. I know what I said. I know how I acted. You're going to be held accountable for what you say, how you act, and everything else. But I got to make sure I don't mess up when the Most High is watching me. As many councils as I be on, there's no way in heaven or hell that I can treat my woman worse than the next person is. I have to try my best. Right? I just want y'all to know, hold each other accountable. If you're going to take the time out to lay with somebody, and see, one of the only times that it's not marriage is like Samson, when he slept with the prostitute. Or Judah. Your forefather Judah slept with the chick he thought was a prostitute.
His daughter-in-law.
And now he had to, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, take my staff, take my jewels, you know what I'm saying? I'll be back.
With that goat.
Yeah.
Or was it a sheep?
When you say stuff like that in the midst of what I'm saying, it sounds as if someone's sleeping with a goat or a sheep. You understand what I'm saying?
Look, that was
I'm just saying.
Salaki.
There's multiple voices going on.
Salaki.
Hot typing right
That,
now.
that was the, let me clarify. That was the payment for the service.
Yeah.
Sheep.
So that's one of that and you know, a couple other ways that you would not be married, of course. But if we're talking about consensual adults, consensual man and woman coming together, she held them accountable. Khan. She went looking for that man. Where you at, Lahat? Judah. She held him accountable. So I just want y'all to understand, this whole lesson, this whole conversation is just be patient if you're not willing to go all the way. If you're not willing to say, forget how I feel, forget how you treat me, because I can't put you away just because you treat me bad. I tell my girl, listen, outside of fornication and adultery, you can do anything in the world to me. And I gotta still love you. I gotta still wake up next to you. I still gotta deal with you. No matter what you do. Christ said the only way you get away from that woman is if she commits adultery or fornication. Sleeping with an animal, girl on girl or whatever. Stuff like that. Sexual immorality. Things that you're not allowed to be doing. We have to hold each other accountable. We got to do better as a people. Especially since brothers been teaching since 1969. It's 2022 and we still got these dumbass incidences. Like I told my rib. When I listen, Mercy, Khan. I was running away from trying to have a wife when I walked into this truth. I wasn't even laying with the woman that I was living with. Because I don't want to lead anybody down the wrong path. So it wasn't until a couple years on this walk until I took my first wife. she had every choice that she wanted to go do whatever she was going to go do. And she did that. As well as every other woman I've been around. And just now, my baby mother did whatever she decided to do. But the Most High opened up another door for me. Right? Gave me a different type of headache. You know? A different type. So, I just want to let y'all know, man, when you see your people going off, correct them. When you decide that you want to, don't lay with anybody until you know that you're willing to go through hell and back to be with them. And I ain't talking about hell and back. I'm talking about don't marry anybody until you're ready to hear them call you every name under the sun but yours. Don't marry anybody until you're ready to hear her tell you what she don't like about you every single day of your life. Don't marry anybody until you're ready to hear, until you're ready until you're ready for her to get into an accident, God forbid, lose arms and legs, God forbid, and you still gotta be there for her. Brothers be in the world be like, listen, I'm done. She can't do nothing else with me. The legs gone, arms gone, I can't take it nowhere. When we hold ourselves accountable, ourselves is one word, but never mind that. In relationships, that gets rid of all the petty stuff, which is usually more than half the battle. Con. You know, sex consummates the marriage. Talking don't mean nothing. Saying I want to be with you, saying we together forever, ain't nothing. The Most High knows that when you lay down with this person, oh, now I wrote it down in my book. That's his wife. We didn't know this information before. You understand me, Q? We didn't know this before. So we repent, which means to turn back, turn away from, return to the Most High, turn away from our wickedness, turn back to the Bible. When we do that, that's what it means to repent. When we do that, now it's a clean slate. We are now new creatures in Christ, right? We always heard that. We are now new creatures in Christ. So now we have to act accordingly. We have to move accordingly. We are new creatures in Christ. Myself and everybody here, every day you got to start off new. My spirit is where my spirit is at the moment. And it's all about fighting those spirits, right? What did Paul say? You know, my flesh want me to do one thing, my spirit want me to do another, but I keep warring together because I'm roughly paraphrasing. I do what my flesh wants me to do. So I just want y'all to know, man, y'all ain't alone. Everybody go through it. But if you decide to lay with anybody, for you sisters, if you decide to lay with a man, that's your man forever. If he decides to take another wife, guess what? Please do not make his life that much more difficult. You don't know what we got to do in these streets. You don't know what we got to do when it comes to this walk. I'll put it to you like this. Don't lay with a nigga that ain't doing the work. Don't lay with a nigga that's not doing the work. At least you know if a brother's doing the work, you can hold him to something. But if he ain't doing nothing, then what you gonna hold him to? He marching to the beat of his own drum. But if he on this walk and he's doing what we're doing, guess what? He's gonna have somebody around here to tell him, no, bro, you going off. That ain't right. That ain't what you're supposed to be doing. There's been countless conversations we've had within this circle that say, nah, bro. Celtics coach slept with another man's wife. Con. And that's Doc Rivers?
No, they fired up.
Whew! Thank you, Lord. That was my nigga.
Neil Long's old boy.
Damn. Listen. You know? Listen. People do this stuff, man. People do this stuff. We can only hope that us who are in the know show them better. Right? Check out the Patreon.
That's the coach's name.
He was African too?
Hamite, I guess.
Listen, I'd rather he be Ham. Hey, listen. Do what you do, Ham. Alright? You all have a blessed night. Don't forget, get your children's Bible, you know, come with pictures of black folk, you know, black, Hispanic, and Native Americans. You know what I'm saying? You know? Yeah, I don't know what that was.
Hey, see,
Nigeria. He
might be Igbo.
Stupid.
He could be Igbo, but everybody from there not.
You know, check out the book. Get your scars from Deacon Sakari Music. Get your scars from Rob. Hit up Chief Priest Alizaba Lawyer. You know what I'm saying? Get your urban gorilla wear. You know what I'm saying? Hit up Ram Amar. He got the what's the name of his name? For the Saints. FTS for the Saints, I believe it is. You know what I'm saying? All I wear is Sakari shirt, so huh? Only the Saints. Whose is that?
Isn't that what we're talking about?
No.
It's FTS.
For the Saints, most likely. So, yeah, man, it's always a pleasure politicking with y'all. Maybe one of these weeks, I'm gonna invite y'all on so we could talk, man. We could chat. You know what I'm saying? And that'd be beautiful. You know what I'm saying? I love all y'all dearly. You know what I mean? I pray that I can continue to do this work and the Most High continue to put that spirit on me no matter what I got going on in my life. You know what I'm saying? For the nation, FTN, for the nation.
Hey, Sarge, what do you think of maybe doing a giveaway like some fringes or
giveaway
for some kind of participation?
Listen, I'm so selfish. Giveaway.
Yeah. Fringes or T-shirts, something we could chip in on.
Check this out. But for what though? For what?
Participation.
Yeah,
like our guests.
Nigga, you don't make tassels.
I'm asking.
I'm over here about to put in work. Y'all just
it could be.
Check this out.
A guest host. You know what I'm saying?
We gonna think of something. We gonna do something with y'all. Probably gonna give away some tassels. You know what I'm saying? You know, y'all's Air Forces, they black. You know what I'm saying? We gonna do something. You know what I'm saying? Send you a tee. Well, listen. Oh my God. Listen. You say send me a tee. Listen, it ain't gonna say Sakari. You know what I'm saying? You know? Now, it would say Sakari when you cross that line. Listen, Shaquad, I'm not sending money nowhere either. I'm Brooke. You know what I'm saying? I'm Brooke. You know? Remember, you heard what Chief said? All this fake. I'm Brooke. Fake. Hey, and with that, I want to give Call Halal Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Mashiach Yahushua, and Shalom.
Shalom.
You say this.